A great many men will walk this path, yet never truly arrive. Perhaps this observation feels resonant. How often have you witnessed someone who appears to possess everything, yet finds themselves unable to cultivate a deep and true connection? This is not a matter of appearance, of wealth, or of outward confidence. The reality is, a certain awareness of small, yet profound, gestures is often overlooked. And today, we will explore 7 subtle truths that women often feel drawn to, yet seldom voice. These are not common pieces of advice you may have encountered before. They are insights into the quiet currents of the human heart, informed by both deep awareness and ancient wisdom, that can transform how you are perceived, allowing your presence to become memorable without effort. Consider this perspective. What if you could connect with the unspoken currents that move beneath the surface of conscious thought? What if you could naturally distinguish yourself, not by striving, but by understanding, not by chasing, but through a grounded sense of self, understanding what truly allows another to feel seen, cherished, and spiritually aligned? Herein lies a profound insight. Without this understanding, you may be navigating without a compass. You could be missing the very essence of the connection you seek, the kind that lingers in the heart long after a conversation ends. This is why walking this path of discovery to its conclusion is vital. The final truth is perhaps the most illuminating, and once you grasp it, your perception of connection will be forever shifted. Before we begin our journey, a small gesture. If you feel that this path is for you, lend your support to our shared exploration, so you do not miss the insights that will be shared. Let us begin. First, the power of presence through touch, before the merging of bodies. Imagine this. You are sharing a moment. The words flow effortlessly. There is laughter, and all seems to be well, yet a certain depth is missing. You can feel that the connection is not yet fully formed. She is present, but not entirely surrendered to the moment. You part ways, a message is sent, and then a quiet stillness. What has unfolded? Most men rely solely on words to build a bridge. They believe a beautiful conversation is the destination. But for another soul, connection is not merely verbal, it is energetic and felt. And there is a profoundly underappreciated way to create this bridge: intentional touch. Not in a forceful or invasive manner, not in a way that creates discomfort, but in a way that is subtle, mindful, and deeply rooted in meaning. One of the most profound gestures, one that the spirit deeply appreciates, is a simple, mindful touch before any thought of intimacy. This sounds straightforward, does it not? But its power lies in this: for another person, the feeling of emotional safety is as vital as, if not more than, any physical attraction. A well-placed, non-demanding touch conveys far more than language ever can. It says, "I see you. I honor your presence. I wish for you to feel a deep sense of peace and safety with me." This is not about a technical skill or an attempt to impress. It is about being fully present, anchored in the now, creating a space for her to feel relaxed, understood, and cared for, not just in her form, but in her essence. The key, it is not the touch itself, but the silent intention that flows through it. If you are merely performing an action, its soul will be absent. But if you are present, aware, and truly attuned to her response, she will feel the depth of your stillness. Ancient wisdom teaches us this: waste no more energy discussing what a person of substance should be. Simply become one. Do not let the mind overcomplicate. Do not make it an awkward performance. Simply reside in the moment and let your actions be a quiet expression of your presence. Here is a clear truth. The great majority will never take the time to grasp this. They will remain in a state of seeking, struggling to find that deeper current of intimacy. But those who do, they forge profound, lasting bonds that are not easily forgotten. In a world where so much is based on fleeting gratification and surface interactions, this kind of mindful presence is rare. And when you cultivate it, you align with a deeper truth about what it means to truly connect with another soul. Second, the art of playful energetic exchange, born from confidence and respect. Many misunderstand this subtle dance. They either apply too much force appearing needy and grasping, or they hold back entirely, fearing they might misstep. The truth is, the spirit delights in playful connection, but only when it is guided by a confident stillness and a deep respect. A man who understands how to engage in this way naturally stands apart, for he creates an energy that feels expansive and inviting, without any sense of pressure. This exchange is not about impressing her with prepared lines or exaggerated praise. It is about maintaining a current that is light, open, and alive. See it as a flowing river. You guide the direction, she moves with you, but neither feels forced. It is a shared journey. The most skillful way to do this is through a light-hearted challenge. For instance, if she shares her love for something, you might respond with a gentle smile. Is that so? A worthy choice. It is clear you have yet to experience it through my perspective. It is a subtle invitation that keeps the exchange vibrant, creating a sense of playful discovery. More importantly, this artful exchange is not about seeking approval. The moment you strive to impress, the light dims. Others are naturally drawn to a soul who is at peace within himself, who can be playful without needing confirmation. This is where inner wisdom guides us. A man of true substance does not engage to win someone over. He engages because he finds joy in the flow of the moment itself. He remains emotionally centered, never desperate for a particular outcome. Beyond words, your gaze and your posture are the true language. A steady gaze, followed by a gentle smile, a slow nod, or a well-timed pause speaks more profoundly than any clever phrase. Connection is not built through words alone. It is built through presence, through energy, and through a quiet, self-assured nature. When you engage from this centered space, she will feel it instantly. So, ask yourself, are you engaging to gain something, or because you find peace in the shared moment? Master this shift, and you will notice how connection begins to flow toward you. Third, the subtle power of touching her hair. This is a path most men never walk, yet it holds a quiet magic. When offered in the right moment, it is one of those small, seemingly insignificant gestures that can forge an instant, profound connection. But if offered without awareness, it can feel out of place, contrived, or even like an intrusion. The key is to understand the nature of this connection. The head and scalp are sanctuaries of energy and sensation, places that can stir deep emotional currents. A well-placed, gentle touch upon her hair can send quiet yet powerful signals of closeness, trust, and deep appreciation. It transcends the physical sensation. It carries an unspoken message. It can be, I see you. I am present here with you, and I am attuned to the space we share. But this is where many falter. They either rush the moment or perform the action mechanically, with no genuine presence behind it. Touching her hair is not about playing with it absent-mindedly. It is about creating a moment of shared stillness. Imagine, you are seated together, sharing a quiet space, and at precisely the right time, you gently guide a strand of hair from her face. That single act, performed with pure intention and serene confidence, can communicate more than an hour of conversation. Timing is the essence. This is not something to be offered in a first meeting, before a foundation of comfort is built. It finds its power when she already feels at ease in your presence, when there is a warmth and an unspoken invitation in the air. If she inclines toward you, if her smile opens in a way that welcomes closeness, that is your guide. The greatest misstep is to force this moment before she is ready, which is why your presence and awareness are paramount. From a place of deep awareness, this relates to emotional clarity and restraint. We are taught to read the flow of a situation without acting on impulse, to remain guided by stillness rather than driven by desire. This means you do not reach out simply because you want to, but rather because the moment itself invites a deeper connection. So the next time you share a space with her and the energy feels right, do not underestimate the power of this simple, mindful touch. When offered with confident stillness, it becomes one of those rare, subtle gestures that leaves a lasting, peaceful memory. Fourth, the hand on her back in a shared space. This may appear to be a small, fleeting gesture, but in its essence, it speaks volumes. A simple, confident touch on a woman's lower back, as you guide her through a busy space or while walking together, communicates something profoundly resonant: quiet leadership, inner assurance, and a sense of protection. And still, a vast majority of men either overlook it or hesitate, uncertain of the flow of the moment. Women do not seek grand demonstrations of masculine energy to feel safe. They respond to subtle, intuitive signals that a man is grounded, present, and capable of gentle guidance. When you place your hand on her back in a calm, self-possessed way, you convey that you are at peace with yourself and the surroundings without needing a single word. This is not about assertion or control, but about showing her through a simple act that you are there, you are aware, and you lead from a place of quiet strength. But this is where most men falter. They either hesitate too long, making the moment feel uncertain, or they offer it in a way that feels rigid and unnatural. This is not about possessiveness, nor is it about looking for a reaction. It is about presence. When done with right intention, the touch is light but clear, brief but mindful, just enough for her to feel your supportive presence in a way that seems effortless and natural. Picture this: you are walking side by side, moving toward a doorway. As you step forward to open it for her, your hand briefly rests on her lower back, just enough to guide her path without breaking the rhythm of your movement. It is a moment of silent leadership, a gesture that subconsciously reassures her that she is in the presence of a man who moves with confidence and intention. From a perspective of inner wisdom, this connects directly to self-mastery and emotional presence. Ancient teachings say, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." A man of substance does not seek validation for his actions. He simply embodies strength, awareness, and a quiet sense of command over his own being. When you place your hand on her back, you are not seeking a response. You are simply being a man of presence and gentle leadership. And that, in itself, is magnetic. In a world where many men are either too timid or too forceful, mastering this simple yet powerful gesture sets you apart as one who understands the delicate balance between strength and care. Fifth, to be her harbor, a source of stillness. Let us quiet the outside world for a moment and touch upon a truth every man feels, but few openly acknowledge: the deep, intuitive pull to be a source of protection, of guidance, of steadfastness she can lean on when her world feels turbulent. This does not arise from a belief that she is weak, nor from a desire to control her. It comes from an alignment with your own deep, seated masculine essence to be a shelter, not a cage, to stand firm, not to chase. And here is what is so often missed: this is a quality that a woman's spirit deeply craves. Not a guard, not a director, but a man who carries a presence that says, without any words, "You are safe in this space with me." And here is the shift in perspective. You do not earn this state through physical might or material wealth. You cultivate it through your emotional fortitude. You see, many men believe that being her protector means rushing in with solutions, solving her challenges, telling her the path to take, or fixing her difficult day as if it were a leaking faucet. But in truth, that is not what her soul is seeking. What she truly longs for is a man who can remain still while she unravels, a man who does not retreat when she is in a state of emotional flow, who does not try to suppress it, diminish it, or make it about himself. She wants to know that you can hold the space for her tempest without losing your own clear sky. Because when a woman feels overwhelmed by her mind, her heart, her very being, she is not looking for a fixer. She is looking for someone who will not be swayed by the storm, someone who does not seek escape, someone who does not react, someone who simply stays, but stays anchored. That is what makes you her harbor. It is not loud, it is not theatrical, it is not the romance depicted in films. It is steady, quiet, unshakable. And the more she senses that stillness in you, the more she can relax into her own feminine nature, because now she is not the one holding everything together. She is not the one leading the emotional current. She is able to let go because she knows you are holding the space for her, even when she is not in a state of ease. Now, Let us be very clear. To be her harbor means letting her feel without rushing to a solution. Listening with your entire being, not just with your ears. Maintaining your composure when she tests the boundaries. Not as a punishment, but to demonstrate that her storm cannot break your foundation. And stepping forward in stressful times without a need for long explanations. Your calm becomes the signal. The key is this: you become her harbor before she needs you to be. This means you do not just respond to turmoil. You shape the energetic weather of the room. You walk with a sense of purpose. You speak with intention. You do not need to say, "I have you," because the way you inhabit your own body already communicates it. But let this be understood. This is not about being her emotional outlet for imbalance. Being a protector does not mean you tolerate disrespect, instability, or manipulation. It means you protect your own inner peace first, because a man who cannot protect his own emotional state can never truly shelter hers. This is why inner cultivation is so powerful in connection. One wise teacher said, "No one ever becomes wise by chance." You do not stumble into this way of being. You choose it, you build it, you embody it. Not to impress her, not to prove a point, but because it is who you are, who you have chosen to become, who you must be to lead with stillness, not chase with anxiety, to shelter, not to prove. And here is the beautiful irony. When you fully step into that energy, she begins to perceive you differently. She softens, she opens, she trusts, not because you rescued her, but because you showed her that she never had to rescue you. So, if you are done trying to earn affection by overextending yourself, if you are tired of absorbing emotional currents just to maintain a connection, if you are finally ready to lead with a grounded spirit, acknowledge this truth within you. My presence is my shelter. Because the man she is drawn to, the one she respects deep within her being, is not the most vocal one. He is the one who remains steady when it matters, the one who listens without fixing, who holds space without fear, and who leads without losing himself. That is the man she trusts. That is the man she opens her heart to. That is the protector, not of her body, but of her feeling of safety in your presence. Sixth, the essence of a beard. Very well, let us touch on something that appears purely of the physical realm at first, but in fact connects to something far more ancient: the beard. To some, it is simply facial hair. To others, it is a statement. But to her, if you carry it with the right presence, it can stir a sense of attraction that feels almost primal. Now, I am not suggesting every woman loves a beard. Some prefer a clean, shaven face, some appreciate scruff, some are drawn to a full beard. But irrespective of personal preference, there is a reason that beards have long symbolized something foundational, something masculine, something of a quiet power. And women feel this, even when they cannot articulate it. Because the beard does not just alter your appearance, it alters your perceived essence. And in connection, perception is a profound truth. You see, a well-cared-for beard signals maturity. It suggests a journey has been walked. It carries a certain gravity. It silently communicates, this man is past his boyish phase. He is not striving to impress. He simply is. And that energy of simply is, that is the essence of stillness. That is the core of masculine presence. And that is a quality that speaks more loudly than your words. Let us go a layer deeper. From a psychological viewpoint, facial hair can represent a sense of centeredness and depth. Not the loud, proclamatory kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that enters a space and does not need to announce its arrival. It communicates through stillness, through presence, through the details. And when a woman perceives a man with that presence, especially one who carries a beard with mindfulness and care, it touches something ancient within her. She senses safety, but also a quiet strength. She perceives a man who can both protect and provoke thought, someone not easily swayed by external opinion, someone who walks his own path. But let us be clear, this is not about simply growing a beard. A beard, when it is an expression of self, is not just a look, it is a reflection of your own discipline. It says, I care for myself. I am mindful of the details. I invest in my own presence. An untended, chaotic beard does not signal power. It signals a lack of inner order. But a clean, intentional beard says, I know who I am, and I am at peace with it. Now, here is the subtle part rarely discussed. When a woman runs her fingers along your jaw, through your beard, she is not merely enjoying a texture. She is feeling something deeper. It is contact, but it is also a beautiful contrast, your grounded ruggedness against her soft flow, her skin meeting your edge. It is an experience for the senses, and it speaks on an unspoken level. That is the element most men miss. A beard doesn't just change how you look, it can amplify the dynamic interplay of energies. And this dynamic interplay is what fuels the chemistry. Not sameness, not simple comfort, but the dance of difference, the masculine and the feminine, stillness and movement, strength and surrender. The beard, when united with the right inner energy, becomes an amplifier of that dynamic, allowing her to feel more rooted in her own feminine essence just by being in your presence. But again, the beard itself is not the source. It is the man behind it. Because if your energy is weak, if your inner boundaries are unclear, if you chase, explain, or give, no amount of facial hair will change how she feels you. But if you carry yourself with a sense of purpose, silent when needed, selective with your focus, anchored in your path, then the beard becomes more than an appearance. It becomes an emblem of the man you are. And therein lies its quiet power. Let us connect this back to ancient wisdom. A teacher once taught, first know who you are, then adorn yourself accordingly. You do not grow a beard to hide a lack of confidence. You allow it to grow as an extension of your identity. It does not make you strong. It reflects the strength you have already cultivated. So, whether you maintain a clean shave or allow it to grow, do so with purpose. Do not follow transient styles. Do not imitate. Lead with your presence and let all else be an echo of that truth. And if this understanding resonates today, if you now see that inner strength is not just felt, but also seen, then feel this in your heart. I embody strength. Because the man who knows himself does not just grow a beard. He wears it as a quiet signal, a gentle reminder to her that she is in the presence of a man who has nothing to prove. He already is. Seventh, the connecting power of shared laughter. Allow me to ask you something, my friend. When was the last time you and a woman shared a moment of true laughter? I do not mean a polite chuckle, not the kind of response that follows a manufactured joke. I mean that genuine, spontaneous, unguarded laughter. The kind that makes her lean back and forget the weight of the world for a single moment. The kind that leads to an unconscious touch on your arm. The kind that lowers her guard without a single word being spoken. Because here is the truth many do not realize: laughter is not simply enjoyment. It is a form of intimacy. It is disarming. It flows past the analytical mind. It bypasses logic and lands directly in her spirit. Do you want to understand the deep nature of this? When a woman laughs with you, truly laughs, her being releases a sense of connection, a bonding warmth, the same kind she feels in moments of deep touch, deep trust. And in that instant, you are not just the man she is speaking with. You become the man with whom she feels a sense of ease, the man who feels like a safe harbor. Now, most men never tap into this stream. Why? Because they are so focused on appearing impressive, on saying the right things, on being the strong, silent, mysterious figure. All of that has its place. But if that is the totality of your being, she may feel a sense of admiration, but not deep attraction. She will see you as composed, but perhaps not as memorable. Laughter is what makes your presence unforgettable. It is the secret ingredient, the space between the moments of tension, the breath of fresh air when she realizes, being around this man makes life feel lighter. But what matters is this: it is not about becoming a performer. It is not about striving to entertain her. It is about knowing when to relax into the now, when to playfully challenge, when to allow her to challenge you in return, when to not take your own persona so seriously. That is what creates the kind of chemistry that does not require physical touch to feel electric. Let me paint a picture. You are out with her. The energy is quiet, calm. You notice a small thing, a little moment others might miss, and you offer a dry, perfectly timed observation. Her lips curve. She tries to hold back the smile, but cannot. And now you are both sharing in that small joy. That moment, right there, is more powerful than any rehearsed line, because it was not forced, it was discovered. Shared, unscripted, genuine. And the beauty of it is, she will carry that moment with her. Not the words, but the feeling. She will not recall the exact comment. She will recall how light she felt in your presence. And in a world that often feels heavy to her, that feeling is deeply nourishing. Now, this is what most men misunderstand. They believe that laughter signals a lack of depth, that if they are not serious, they lose a sense of gravitas. But that is inverted. The man who can be light without losing his centeredness is rare. He is intriguing. He is profoundly attractive, because he does not need to be in a state of performance to be powerful. He knows that laughter does not diminish his masculine core. It expands it. It shows he is not threatened by the moment, that he is the master of his own energy, that even in his stillness, he can be a source of joy. Let's connect this to timeless wisdom. One teacher noted that the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, but it is also taught that if you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. In other words, your capacity to reframe the world, to shift tension into ease, is a form of power, and laughter is the physical expression of that shift. It is how you gently guide her energy, and your own, back toward joy. It is how you teach her that strength does not always need to be heavy, that wisdom can smile, that stillness can spark. So, if you have been carrying the burden of always being the serious man, if you have forgotten what it feels like to simply enjoy the flow of a moment with another soul, without a need for control, without performance, it is time to welcome that lightness back, not to impress, but to reconnect with that part of your own spirit first. Because the man who laughs with her, not at her, not for her, but with her, that man builds something deeper than attraction. He builds an emotional memory. And if that is the man you are becoming now, acknowledge this. I lead with lightness. Because the man who brings a smile to her face is the man she wants to be near, not just when life is exciting, but also when it is challenging. Because shared laughter, my friend, is not just a sound. It is a signal. And when it is truly shared, it forges a bond she cannot explain, but will never forget. Eighth, the resonance of a man's purpose. Let us venture beyond the surface of attraction for a moment, beyond the touch, beyond the playful exchange, beyond the chemistry. Let us speak of something a woman's soul craves, but rarely knows how to ask for a man with a clear path. Not just a career, not just a goal, not just a plan for the coming year. I am speaking of a guiding vision, a sense of direction, a man who is not merely existing, but who is actively building something of meaning. Because here is the truth so many overlook. Nothing draws a woman's spirit in more deeply than a man who is unapologetically walking a path that is larger than himself. This is not about wealth. This is not about recognition. It is not even about the specific nature of the path itself. It is about what this direction says about you. It says you are alive. It says you are not stagnant. It says you awaken with a purpose. And that energy is powerfully resonant. Do you want to know what a woman's soul finds profoundly attractive? It is the man who can look her in the eyes and say, I cannot stay long. There is something I must attend to. And he truly means it. Not because he is turning away from her, but because he refuses to lose himself, even in a beautiful connection. That is the subtle secret. You do not win her heart by making her the focus of your world. You win it by focusing on your own path and allowing her to see the quiet fire in your eyes when you speak of it. And here is why this is so effective. Because when a woman feels your direction, when she sees that you are moving towards something real, that you are not standing still, not waiting for life to bring things to you, she feels a deep sense of respect. She